knowing it. Some, if left unchecked, can be instantly fatal. One particular disease, if caught early enough, is very treatable. Here now is Dr. Theodore Taruya from Redlands Community Hospital on the diagnosis and treatment of abdominal aortic aneurysms.
Abdominal aortic aneurysms are when the main artery in the belly enlarges, and just like a balloon, when the artery gets bigger, it's at risk to burst. When that artery bursts, people bleed, and it carries a very high mortality, or the risk of death is very high. People who have an aneurysm and have the aneurysm rupture, the vast majority of these people actually die before they make it to the hospital. And you know, when you hear people dying of natural causes at home, you know, there's a significant number of them who probably die of a ruptured aneurysm. Of the people who make it to the hospital with a ruptured aneurysm, only about half of those people will make it out of the hospital. So it's a very bad problem, and when we wait for the aneurysm to rupture, it's extremely devastating. And that's why if we screen people, find the aneurysm before it's ruptured, and fix it, it can significantly improve survival in these people. If people are over the age of 60 and have a history of smoking, or if their family members had this disease, they can go and get an ultrasound, which will be paid for by Medicare, and that's the best way to detect this disease. It's rare for aneurysms to have symptoms, and in fact, the way that we find most of these aneurysms are either by screening ultrasound, or people will have a CAT scan now for various other reasons. They get in a car accident, or they have abdominal pain for another reason, and they come in and get a CAT scan, and we find an aneurysm incidentally. So when we find aneurysms in people, the history is very interesting. We first started fixing these aneurysms back in the 1960s, and it required a big operation. We'd have to open somebody up and basically just replace that artery with a polyester artery. And the recovery for that is quite long. People stay in the hospital for 7 to 10 days, and it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to fully recover from the operation.
We asked Dr. Taruya how advances in medical technology have played a role in the treatment of abdominal aortic aneurysms.
Back in the year 2000, there was a new way that was developed to fix these aneurysms, and that involved just small incisions in the groin area, and we basically fix the aneurysm from the inside. And we put wires into the arteries, and that allows us to pass the graft over the wires. And the grafts are basically various different tubes with material on a metal like skeleton, and they go into the artery, and we basically just deploy them or expand the graft in the area that of the aneurysm we want to treat. For people who have their aneurysm fixed, they have the same life expectancy of somebody who did not have an aneurysm, who has the same health problems. So what we do is basically, if we treat them before it ruptures, we give them the same life expectancy as if they never had the aneurysm.